My name is Erik Compton. I'm from Miami, Florida. I'm a professional golfer, played on the PGA Tour for the last, God knows how long, 5 years. Went to school at the University of Georgia, where I left in 2001 and pursued a profession in PGA Tour golf. Growing up here in South Florida is a beautiful place to live. I speak with a lot of guys on tour and they say, oh, you're from Miami, you know, big city, but really, I mean, we have so many areas to escape. We have beautiful Biscayne Bay, we have Flamingo, we have the Keys, and there's a lot of natural places that are quiet that you can escape to. Ready?
I really don't know what we're going to do until we get to Whitewater Bay and take a look and see what's happening.
Let's go see what the water looks like.
I want you to take me to the spot where you caught that 15-pounder.
That's where we're going to go right now. For those who might not know me or my story, obviously the big things that's happened in my life, I'm the 2-time heart transplant recipient. You know, I'm a national spokesperson for Donate Life, where I visit a lot of hospitals and different venues to promote organ donation. I had my first transplant when I was 12. I was diagnosed with cardiomyopathy and received a life-saving transplant in 1992. And in 2008, after I would say a pretty solid amateur golf career and playing on the tour as well, I had to go in for a second transplant. You know, it's been a bit of a battle, but I've been very lucky and blessed to not only be able to play golf for a living, but to have a normal life. I have a daughter who's almost 8 years old now and a beautiful wife from Argentina. Being able to play golf at a young age with a transplant was probably the best sport for me to play. It was a way for me to get out in the fresh air. At that time in '92, I was on a lot of medication and I wasn't supposed to be around a lot of other kids. I was supposed to be more isolated because of infection, and being able to play on the golf course was a way to represent myself or prove to myself that I was alive. And I slowly went from a feel-good story to actually kind of getting good and being able to beat other kids that were top players in Florida, and that basically grew into a love that's carried me to really the only job that I've ever owned. Even though there was times where I didn't feel my best, I fought through it, and it's amazing to think that I'm almost 25 years out of living with other people's hearts.
So this is considered like the #1 prize as far as trophy, the most beautiful trophy, and the King of Morocco presents that at the ceremony there at the 18th green.
I have a Norwegian background, and many people don't know that about me, and that's pretty much how I got into fishing. Growing up in the summers in Norway, we had several boats there on the fjord, and from lighting for stone crabs or chasing eels on the flats, I really grew a love for the outdoors and for fishing.
Hoping we get one on this bank, Eric. I like slow mornings. Usually when you start off slow, you come up with a nice fish or two.
Lloyd Rubel puts on one of the biggest backcountry fishing events in the Keys. And for me to go there the first time to be participating in his event and to see him in a different element, because usually we're on the golf course together, and see the enthusiasm of people and what the park and Whitewater Bay, Hells Bay, and all the great islands out there, what it meant to them, really was touching to me, because I knew how much Flamingo meant to me, and to be able to give back to his event and to participate in his event, it really meant a lot to me, and I'm very, very happy to be a part of that family.
It's kind of hard for me to pass this island when I go fish this area. His friends put up this plaque, Ted Jurassic and Flip Pallet, says in memory of Herman Lucerne, Man of the Everglades, 1914 to 1992. He died during Hurricane Andrew.
1992 that I had my first heart transplant.
Is that right?
4 months afterwards.
Wow. Gives me a lot of memories. Let's go get some fish.
Yeah.
Herman would like that.
Surprised there's not a snook sitting right under the stone here, huh?
Yeah.
I think really where my passion for the flats fishing and fly fishing really grew was really right before I went in for my second transplant in 2008. Franco Zamboli, who owned the fly shop here in Miami, I walked in one day and was very curious about fly fishing, and it was a completely new environment to me. And we sat down and we spoke for about an hour, and he showed me some different fly gear, and I told him I'd come back the next day, but unfortunately, that's when I had a massive heart attack and had to be in the hospital for over a month. I went back and visited Franco in the fly shop after I had this heart attack. He said, "Where did you go?" And I told him my story, and really the fly shop over there became a place for me to hang my head and, you know, just relax. I wasn't playing professional golf at the time because I was not strong enough. I was waiting for another life-saving transplant, and within those few weeks, I ended up catching a massive dolphin that you saw on the wall there that was 54 pounds on an 8-weight, and I was hooked ever since. And I've told the story before, but it was almost like a symbol of catching that fish, was like God telling me that everything was going to be all right, that I was going to live another life and get another transplant. And shortly after that catch, I was under the knife again and had a transplant. And you know, when I recovered, all I really wanted to do was fish.
Here he is. Finally.
The parallel between golf and fishing is you go a whole day with working hard with your friend, pulling around, looking for fish, and you might not catch anything until 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and you're really working hard. And I think this is the same thing with golf. You're never out of it until you're out of it, and you work a 4-day golf event, and it may be a key shot that puts you in the top 5 or the top 3 that you have to work all day for or work all week on. I've learned a lot of patience from fishing, and I think you need a lot of patience to play golf for a living, to accept that you're not going to win all the time. And when things line up and you have a good day on the water or a great catch, it just makes it that more rewarding. Look at his gill. His gill got my thumb, huh? Only took...
Yeah, I know. You got to be careful with those guys. Let's let them grow up.
Really, how I got into the Hells Bay family was through Lloyd and Paul Tejera, who's become a good friend of mine. And I always knew about the Hells Bay boats. Obviously, I wanted to own one at the right time when I was mature enough to be able to handle a high-end skiff like this. And I really wanted to be a part of that family, and I was so excited about getting my professional and building it and designing the color. And I basically got the blue color for my US Open finish at Pinehurst, kind of the similar colors. Hells Bay has been involved in my foundation. We had my foundation golf tournament, which raises money for transplant research and also for young kids here at the First Tee of Miami. And we had some of the top players from around the world come and play at my foundation, and had a Hells Bay boat out there on display for anybody who hit a hole-in-one.
Well,
Thank you for a good day, sir.
well, it was a lot of fun.
Another good day in Flamingo. Thanks for taking me in the back.
Yeah, I wish we didn't have 20-knot winds today,
Oh, it
but
was
that's
nice.
fishing.
Wind laid down a little bit in the evening. But
Yeah, well, as long as you're in a lee, you're okay. You get the clear water, but next time,
we'll get the big one.
yep.
You look at my story, and I've had my heart taken out, and I have arteries and veins that have been sewn up, and you look at the waters of Flamingo in the backcountry. I mean, you look at these creeks and all these flows that go through there. It's almost like a heart itself that's alive, and these waters and fish cruising through there, and it's a whole life form in itself. And I think that's why I chose Hells Bay Professional, because I knew that I was going to work at my fly casting. I knew that I was going to work at learning the water and learning different areas to fish, and I wanted to have the best tools to be able to get me in those areas. I've been really, really blessed through golf and through fishing to have met so many people who have made a difference in my life, who've helped me along the way and really encouraged me to live a full life.